Think back to a truly perfect moment in your life. Maybe it was a summer afternoon, a great date, or a time when everything just felt right. Now, imagine if you could freeze that moment and live inside it forever. That exact temptation pulls a young man named Nick Carraway away from his quiet home and into the chaos of New York in the 1920s. Nick ends up renting a small, weather-beaten house on Long Island, and right next door lives a man who seems to have conquered the world, the young, impossibly wealthy Jay Gatsby. Gatsby's life looks like a continuous, dazzling spectacle. He owns a sprawling mansion with a marble swimming pool and 40 acres of lawn. Every weekend, he throws legendary parties where hundreds of strangers drink his champagne and dance until dawn. But if you look closely at the host of these parties, you notice something strange. Surrounded by thousands of people and absolute luxury, Gatsby remains a ghost.
He doesn't drink, he doesn't dance, and his attention is fixed entirely on something else. While his guests are partying, Gatsby often stands alone at the edge of his dock in the dark. He stares out across the water, reaching his hand toward a single, blurry green light glowing in the distance. That light sits at the end of a dock belonging to Daisy. She is a wealthy, charming young woman living in the fashionable neighborhood directly across the bay. Gatsby and Daisy have a history. They met and fell in love 5 years earlier, but Gatsby was a penniless young soldier. Before they could build a life together, he was shipped overseas to fight in the First World War. In the 5 years they were apart, Gatsby dedicated every waking second to acquiring wealth. He built an elaborate fake persona, climbed the social ladder, and amassed a huge fortune through illegal bootletting. Earnest, the mansion, the flashy cars, the hundreds of party guests, all of it was a custom-built tool designed to do one thing: bridge the physical and social gap back to that girl and that green light. There was a major problem standing in his way. While Gatsby was fighting, Daisy moved on. She married a man named Tom Buchanan. Tom's wealth was completely different from Gatsby's. Tom belonged to an aristocratic class of entrenched multi-generational riches. Gatsby had the cash, but he lacked the social pedigree that people like Tom and Daisy were born into. This page from the book shows how Gatsby tried to buy his way into our world. The text describes his mansion as a factual imitation of some Hôtel de Ville in Normandy, copying European aristocracy. Moving down, he chose it to see the white palaces of fashionable East Egg, positioning himself in Daisy's line of sight. Gatsby is attempting to use his massive fortune as a mechanical lever against time, hoping to reset the clock to the exact second before Daisy met her husband. Eventually, Gatsby convinces his neighbor Nick to invite Daisy over for tea, orchestrating a highly anticipated, deeply awkward secret reunion. Once they are back in each other's lives, Gatsby demands the impossible. He needs Daisy to look her husband in the eye and declare she never loved him, effectively wiping the last 5 years off the map. We can see how impossible this is on this page of the novel. Nick warns him right here: you can't repeat the past. But looking further down, Gatsby reacts with wild disbelief. He cries out incredulously, "Can't repeat the past? Why, of course you can." He is certain he can fix everything. The plan falls apart because Daisy is a real, complicated human being. She actually lived those 5 years. She had a child. She experienced life. And she cannot simply act like a frozen, perfect memory from a long time ago. When you force a heavily romanticized, nostalgic obsession to collide head-on with unyielding reality, the illusion completely shatters. The tension finally snaps in a sudden, violent hit-and-run car accident. Daisy is the one driving, and she hits and kills a woman in the road. But Gatsby, still trying to protect his perfect image of her, decides to take the blame. The husband of the woman who died tracks Gatsby down. In this passage, we see Gatsby's final moments. He is floating on an air mattress in his luxurious pool, still waiting for a phone call from Daisy that she is never going to make. The text shows his death quietly, noting a faint, barely perceptible movement of the water as the mattress moves irregularly down the pool. The beautiful, romantic world Gatsby painted for himself is abruptly washed out by cold, grim reality. He pays the ultimate price for a woman who has already packed her bags and left town with her husband. Gatsby died because he refused to accept the present, turning a simple car accident into his own final, self-inflicted ruin. Gatsby's obsession reveals a tragedy at the center of the American dream, the false promise that enough money can purchase a second chance at a lost life. The book warns us of the dangerous belief that if you just acquire enough money, buy the right house, and work hard enough, you can bend the rules of the universe and conquer time itself. We all have our own version of the green light. We all have perfect memories, missed opportunities, or old relationships that we are occasionally tempted to chase backward. The book captures this struggle in its iconic final lines, shown here. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. True progress requires us to let go of our idealized memories. Because no matter how much success we achieve, we can never buy back yesterday.